Hi guys, it's been quite a while. I didn't forget you, I just stuff that didn't come and yeah. But happy Halloween, that's why I look like I do. So this video I want to put a disclaimer. This should not count as like facts or anything like that, but more my thoughts and opinion, because I have gotten secondhand information, mostly from two channels, Ablaze and The Forgotten, and I will link both of them down below. But for example, I have not checked any sources and I don't have TikTok, so yeah, it's all, you're getting at least third-hand information, and that should not count as facts. If you find this to be an interesting topic, I recommend looking at their channels and looking through sources that you get from like Googling. But either way, we start off with the whole kids getting tourettes of looking online and being on TikTok. So I think it was in one of the videos of Ablaze where he talked about the fact that they have even made scientific articles about the fact that all of a sudden there is this rise in tourettes, especially among girls, young girls, so like teens, preteens and such, with Tourette's tics that are highly unusual and seem to be kind of weird if we compare to what has usually been. And I understand if you think it's very offensive that I want to say that it has happened before, but for me, I want to connect this to the dancing mania, which, if I remember correctly, was between like 1300s to 1600s in Europe. I'm not completely sure, that's something that you're gonna have to check for yourself. And yeah, like that thing, at least from what was described in the video by The Forgotten, it was the fact that like you had this sickness that went around where people all of a sudden starting to dance until they dropped, usually dead. And they said during this time, the very religious time, that it was based on the fact that it was about sins. And like they tried everything and it didn't work. And for some reason it was like, oh, it came to one village and it went on to the next. So it was almost like a disease spreading. And imagine that, like all your neighbors and everything died during the Black Death, the plague, and you were stuck dancing until you died. But either way, The Forgotten in his video talks about the fact that it was mostly a psychological effect. People were expecting that when one started dancing, they could be pulled in. It was completely subconscious, but basically they thought that they would do it, and in return, because they were convinced they would do it, the body and brain acted on it. Because apparently the thing that solved this mania was always to take them to an old worshipping crypt for non-Christian religion. So basically pray to all the gods. And that apparently always worked, and nothing else would. And that's kind of where I want to come with the whole TikTok, tourettes, and all that thing. Like, yes, obviously some people will fake it. Some people will do it only for fame. But there are people who I believe have the same thing. They watch all these videos and, like, for some reason they think that I will get Tourette's from this. And the body just acts on it. Just because the mind believes it. And it's kind of also like the whole thing that when you're mentally ill or something, like when it is about the brain, your mentality, it can have physical effects. Like some people do get wounds that are purely based on that they think it should be there, so the body reacts to it. And that's what I think it is. Like, I definitely don't believe that every single teen or young adult or whatever is like completely faking it, just doing it for views and God knows what. Because like they should have learned that you're gonna get ridiculed. Like that's usually what it is. So I think that they are just convinced that they will get it if they watch enough, or that they do have it, and the brain and body just goes along with it. Though obviously we don't have as easy cure or help as they had with the dancing mania, where they just had to take them to a crypt, mostly because they thought it was their sin that made them dance until they dropped. And well, I just think it's a very interesting idea. Obviously don't take this idea as any kind of fact or anything. This is purely my thoughts, my opinions, and just kinda a hypothesis that definitely has like no real study or anything behind it. But I think that's what we see happen online with all of this, like all of a sudden everyone is getting Tourette's. And I mean, some of you will probably also be like, but what about the autism? Well, obviously there is this thing that people will fake it, and some psychologists, psychiatrists probably bend a little bit on how stiff the criteria is actually supposed to be. But we also have the thing, like for me, I didn't know that it was like any specific difference in how I did things, how I thought and all of that, until it got pointed out online and I started looking it up. Obviously I don't have a diagnosis, nothing like that, but that is one of the possibilities, that it is more known now, and they try to not stigmatize it, but it usually gets stigmatized no matter what kind of diagnosis you have. But yeah, I think that we should definitely try and, well, the scientific world should try and look into the whole dancing mania and like these kind of things that are so closely connected to TikTok and social media. Because I mean, there is also the thing with Ablaze and videos about DID, that some people are just such in a bad state that they think they have DID just because they need an explanation, they need a community, they just need some kind of comfort. And that can definitely be part of it. But I think we should definitely look into the whole, what can we do to help them? If this is like the dancing mania where it's only the mind that imagines it should happen and it happens, what can we do instead of the old god crypt thing? Like, what can actually be done there? Like placebo effect. They have placebo effect with what they get, maybe. So then a placebo effect could possibly solve the issue. I mean, obviously, I don't know. As said, this is not facts. Please look up for yourself. But I do think that this is a conversation that should be talked about a little bit more, since people tend to forget that we can make connections to history. We should always learn from history, because otherwise we will all make the same mistake again. So yeah, a bit of a boring video for being me, but I hope you guys enjoy this. Happy Halloween. I do hope to make more videos, but I'm not sure if that will be this year or if it will be kinda a lot in the beginning of next year. Because it is action figures I'm waiting for. Surprise, surprise. And, well, obviously it can be late sometimes, and I'm just happy that I don't live in America, because I have seen on a lot of like anime action figure sites that because of the tariffs they get nothing. And I think it's sad for the people that it has come to that. But also, I mean, they do elect their president, but I don't think it's as democratic as we want it to be. Either way, all of this, my own opinion, no facts, look it up yourself. I will have 2 links down below, one specifically about the Dancing Mania and one for just the general Ablaze channel, in case you want to look up a little bit more about that, at least from the sources that I have used, which is secondhand sources, so yeah. But hope you guys have a nice Halloween. If I don't make another video, Christmas, New Year, everything like that. And remember to always have a chocolate bar for Sam. Peace.